Right. Good morning, my People Club community. How are you on this very blowy Wednesday? I'm sat here at my desk and keep looking out the window thinking, what's going to start hitting the window? Am I going to hear trees falling down, tiles coming off the roof? It's feeling very wintry. But anyway, I'm here, as I was last week and the week before, just to talk a bit around our shop that we launched at the beginning of the month. More importantly, to introduce another one of our businesses. So as you can see, I'm joined here by Will Kintish, or Kintish as he's known to his friends and family, and his business is Kintish Online Networking. That's a mouthful. You should have called it something different, Kintish, so it would be easier for me to say. But good morning. Thank you for joining me. Tell myself and the others a bit more about kind of you, your business, why you do what you do.
So, James, in spite of you saying it's a bit of a mouthful, Kintish Online Networking, as the advert goes, does what it says on the tin. Kintish, me, shows people how to develop their online networking skills. Now, for 20 years, from the year 2000 through till middle of March of this year, which was rather a significant moment, as we all know, good old COVID.
Yeah.
I showed people how to become confident and effective networkers, working the room, having to ingratiate themselves at conferences and networking clubs and business events. Well, of course, all that's had to stop. And like many businesses, I've had to re-engineer myself. And since March, I now show you how you can be nearly as effective online with your networking as you were when we went face-to-face networking. So that's what I do. I'm basically a one-trick pony. I've been most of my last 20 years. And by the way, people looking at me will think, well, what the heck's he been doing before 20 years? Because he's got to be a lot older than about 30. Of course I am. And for 36 years before that, I trained as, I qualified as, and I practiced, are you ready for this? As a chartered accountant. And I'm still a chartered accountant. I still pay my fees to the Institute of Chartered Accountants. But then a beautiful opportunity arose at the beginning of 2000, and I left accountancy to do what I'm doing now. So that's me.
Fantastic. I love it. And I suppose to those of you watching now, or if you're watching kind of a bit later on, once you've got your coffee and you're awake and catching up on Facebook, Will and I met, Kintish and I met, through the Professional Speakers Association, which is interesting because we're both there to obviously to think about speaking, develop our speaking skills, and think about that as from a business perspective. But it's also a networking opportunity. It's a place to meet other people from a variety of backgrounds. You've got Kintish with his background in accountancy, me with a background in telecoms and coaching and consultancy. We've got Penny Haslam there, who's, as she says, used to be a little bit famous on the TV. But there's a whole variety of people. And it's a networking opportunity, same as networking events that you might be members of are networking opportunities. But it's so much broader than that, isn't it, Kintish? Tell us a bit more around kind of who you work with and kind of some of the stuff you've got lined up today and tomorrow.
Just before I tell you that, James, you made an interesting point. You and I are both members of the Professional Speaking Association, and I've been in it virtually since it began. Again, don't ask me why, and I can't remember. I actually joined it when I was still an accountant, not knowing I was ever going to leave accountancy. But, you know, fate deals us some good hands sometimes. And as far as I'm concerned, if you are in the advice-giving business, which I am and you are, and many of our listeners are in it, there is something better than networking to raise our profile and market ourselves. And the answer is to speak in front of an audience. Because, of course, when you're networking, you're having a relationship building exercise, generally with one-to-one. Whereas if you share your knowledge, your expertise, and your experience to a group of people, you are marketing yourself to that group all at one go. So in spite of me being the so-called UK leading authority on networking, presenting is an even better activity when it comes to marketing, as long as you get there early and network with your audience before you start, and as long as you stay late and network with your audience after you've finished. So that's my strong advice about presenting. But you asked me, who do I work with? Generally, I work with people in the professional, financial, and academic worlds. When I do in-house workshops, I generally need 15 people to work with to make it well worthwhile for them and that they get a great value for money. But for the last 20 years in this career I've built up from nothing, I'm proud to say, I have been running public courses for the smaller businesses. And I actually ran my first online public course in October, and I plan to run another one in January now. It's a 2-hour workshop, and I'm only going to charge the grand sum of £75. And if people don't like it at the end of it, they say, Kintish, that was rubbish. Can I have my money back, please? And I will have the check or bank transfer ready to give them the money back. So that's what I do. Simple as that. But the great thing about, since COVID's arrived, I am now, like many people in the advice giving business, a global business. I'm sitting here at Kintish headquarters, global headquarters. So although today I'm working with a university, in the last few days I've worked with businesses in Switzerland, Canada, America, and I've got work coming up in places all over, because it doesn't matter where you are now, does it? Simple.
Absolutely.
And share your expertise with everybody.
Absolutely, yes. I like the fact that I can call myself an international coach now, because I've got a client in Australia, just been working with someone over in Brazil, so it kind of bookends my day. But it's just so easy. And of course, it was easy before COVID. You know, we had Skype, we had Zoom, we had everything else. It's just, I think it's opened a lot of people's eyes to the possibilities and just breaks down those barriers, and particularly networking, because, you know, traditionally it would be rocking up to a venue, a golf course, you know, somewhere that's got a room to host people, to have some breakfast or some lunch, or maybe a bit of dinner, some coffees, and that mix of that kind of conversational chat beforehand and afterwards, and then a bit of a process to go through. And I was just picking up on what you said in terms of getting to these kind of things early, so you can talk to people. You're kind of, you know, networking is a bit like selling from the stage when you're not doing your 40-second pitch or a minute pitch, or maybe you've got that 20-minute presentation slot that's kind of secured for you. You're presenting your business at the beginning, in that informal bit, when you're sitting around the table listening to other people, when you're actively listening to that 20 minutes or delivering that 20 minutes in your one-to-ones. It's really important, I think, to remember that, you know, you're representing your business, and these are great opportunities.
Too many people, James, don't understand the truth about networking. I've been earning a living now for 20 years showing people how to do it. And you know what? The crazy secret is this: networking is just talking to people. But it's the word, it scares the living daylights out of people because they don't understand it. It's just about having a conversation. And the other issue, when people don't really understand it, they terribly mix up networking, i.e. building relationships, and selling. You should never need to sell. All you're doing is asking good questions. And if you do spot a potential opportunity, suggest, if you meet somebody at a conference or a networking event, suggest that you then have a one-to-one. In the olden days, we had one-to-one at Starbucks or Caffè Nero or Costa. Now, I suggest people have a virtual coffee. Look,
exactly.
Virtual coffee.
Exactly.
And that is the strongest advice I can give to people in lockdown. And you should be networking, building relationships, not with new people. If you've been working for a few years, you should be reinvigorating, re-energizing, and reinforcing relationships with past clients. I'm doing a campaign at the moment, going through my 2017, 18, 19 invoices, looking at who I've invoiced them for my live training, and going back to them, reminding them I'm alive and well, and now that the world has changed, would they consider booking me? So I'm about to do some fabulous training for a big technical company in Geneva, because 2 years ago they booked me to go over to Geneva and do live, and they realize now things have changed. So I'll be doing it online next month, all being well.
Yeah, brilliant. Brilliant. And I think it's good advice doing that. I follow Richard McCann on LinkedIn, who's obviously been a bit more visible recently with, you know, for the reasons of kind of his story and background story for anyone that knows him. But he put a post on LinkedIn recently that was really good. He said he was going through his phone and he just kind of skimmed through his contacts, pressed stop at whatever point it was. And for the people who were on his screen, or even the person that was under his finger at that point, he just rang them. And just to say hi, and he might have spoken to them a month ago, 6 months ago, 6 years ago, but just to check in, say hi, how are you doing? How's lockdown going? And just see where the conversation goes. But it's exactly that. Don't think because you've spoken to someone once, they're in your network and that's it. It's done. You've got to keep it. You've got to just keep working at it.
I created this quote many years ago, which I'm quite proud of, particularly for the smaller business. Strategy for survival is visibility. How are you being visible? I mean, I resurrected my newsletter. I stopped a newsletter for a few years. I was doing all right, didn't need it. But I realized that in March, I needed to make sure the world knew I was alive and kicking. I've got 12,000 names in my database, James. None of them are spammy ones. They're people who I've collected business cards from, or people who've been in my audience over the years. I've started that newsletter, and all the new business I've been getting has come from past clients. I don't think I've done any work, paid or otherwise, for anybody since about July, because of course the first 3 months the world went into total lockdown, particularly on my area of expertise. But since July, I've been doing lots, some paid, some unpaid, but only to people who already know me, like me, and trust me, which of course are 3 key steps to building relationships.
Yes, absolutely. So just to kind of one final question then, obviously a lot of our audience are, as you nicely put it, they're there to serve others. So a lot of people who are HR professionals, they may be freelancers with lots of clients. They might be freelancing to 1 or 2 businesses and effectively are their HR department. We've got coaches, we've got trainers, personal trainers, a lot of people who are there in kind of service-based businesses, running them, serving other people. So this is really important to them. So tell us a bit about kind of the courses that you've got on the shop, how they can join. You mentioned one, it's got a money back guarantee with it. What will those kind of people get from that that's going to help them in whatever their business is?
Because if they're reasonably small businesses, they're not going to pay my fee to train 15, 20 people if there's only 3 or 4 of them. So probably the best thing they could do is write to me at will@kintish.co.uk. And if they tell me they are a member of the shop business, rather than £75, I will be setting up my next public course, and I'll be delighted to do it for £50, money back guarantee, of course. So that's what I'm offering. And again, if they go to my website, kintish.co.uk, loads of free information on there, and that's where they can see my offerings. Oh,
fantastic.
But I do have for less than £100 an online learning program. You put your credit card in and you can learn all about networking, both face-to-face networking and online networking. It's a 5-part online e-learning program, and you can learn it anywhere, anytime, any place, anywhere, and you can learn it on your phone, on your tablet, because it's on a platform called Learn with Mobile. So all the stuff is on there. So it's very, very mobile user friendly.
Very nice. Perfect. Thank you, Kintish. So there you go, folks. You heard it here first. You just get in contact with Will, mention you're a member of the My People Club community, and you've got a 33% discount with a money back guarantee. What a way to finish a conversation. Kintish, thank you very much. Everyone watching, please do check out Kintish, that's on the Kintish Online Networking, that's on the shop. Will is part of this community, so ask him a question, whatever it might be, and he will get back to you. You'll see his contact details there as well. So thank you, Kintish. Thank you, everyone, and have a great morning.